Today we are going to make some American goulash Bibs style. So what we have here is, this is 1.7 pounds of lean, 93% lean ground beef. So we'll call it 1.5 pounds if you're writing the recipe, a little bit more than 1.5 pounds of lean beef. We're going to use two 28-ounce cans of whole peeled tomatoes. 2 cans. We're going to use 2 cans of tomato sauce, 15 ounces of tomato sauce. We're going to use a tablespoon of Italian seasoning. Now, I didn't have any Italian seasoning, so I looked it up real quick online, and I had all the ingredients for Italian seasoning, so I made up my own. Then we're going to use some minced garlic, some Worcestershire sauce, an onion, a bell pepper, and optionally we're going to use some sriracha sauce. But I'm not going to put a lot in there. We'll put some sriracha in there, and that's about it. So I need to get prepping my vegetables and get my beef browning. So let's start browning my beef while I chop my vegetables. Okay, so that is very lean. There's hardly any fat in there. There is a little bit, but I am not going to drain that. What I'm going to do is put my vegetables in with that. Finish cooking that ground beef with my onions and peppers. All the peppers or the onions are nice and translucent and soft. And I'm going to put in a half a tablespoon of minced garlic. And throw in my spices. Italian seasoning, what did I say, 1 tablespoon. Let's get those nice and soft. Okay, so that's been browning for about 8 minutes with the lid on, and my onions are starting to go translucent, so that should be good enough. I'm going to put my 2 cans of tomato sauce in there. Now for these whole tomatoes, I'm going to add the sauce, the liquid, into the pot. But what I want to do with these tomatoes is just chop them up into pretty big pieces. I want some chunks in there. Alright. Let me get this cleared away and I'll be right back. Okay. That's looking good. Now, we need to put some Worcestershire sauce. I'm going to put a tablespoon I really think that adds something to it. Then I'm going to put a squirt of optional sriracha sauce. And I'm doing a little good squirt because I like a little bit of spice in my food. Now I'm going to put some black pepper in there. I'm going to pepper it to taste. It needs a little bit of pepper. Now we're going to reduce that to medium low, and I'm going to let that simmer for about 20 minutes. I want all that flavor to get in there and meld together. So we'll cover that, and I'll see you in 20 minutes. Okay, that's been simmering 10 minutes of my 20. I am going to add some better than bouillon beef to that, if I can get it open. And I am going to add about a tablespoonful. Just to flavor that up a bit. Yeah, that tastes a lot better. So, I'll cover that and finish off that 20 minutes. So, 10 more minutes. I'll see you then. Okay, that's been simmering for 20 minutes. So now we need to add my last ingredient. And I got a 8-ounce bag of cheddar and Monterey Jack. I'm going to add this slowly because I don't want it to clump up. We're going to melt that in with that. One final taste test just to see that we're not missing anything. Man, that's going to be good. Alright, I'm going to sneak another taste. Oh yeah, that's good. This is a 6-quart Dutch oven if anybody's interested. I got it from Target. Oh, let's turn this off. We're going to let this cool down a bit and then we'll tray it up. Okay, so we ended up with 3 trays, medium-sized trays for the medium-sized harvest right. Each tray has 2.5 pounds in them, and they're all divided into 10 sections. So that is going to be 15 servings because I'm going to use 2 squares per serving. So I am going to get these in the freezer, get them frozen solid, and they'll be going into the next load on the freeze dryer. So this is going to be a 2-loader because I haven't done my noodles yet. So we'll be coming back on the video with my noodles just to show you that took all of my sauce. So perfect for 3 trays. Alright, so I'll see you for the noodles. Okay, there we go. There's my American goulash. And I had some leftover apple fritters from a few videos ago in my freezer, so I went ahead and ran those with this batch. And while I was trying this up, I got to thinking I need 40 individual servings. No, 20 individual servings. Because I'm going to do 4 trays of 10 squares of noodles to go with this, which is going to be 2 squares per meal pouch, which is going to be 20 mils. So I need to be able to divide that up by 20. So what I decided was we're going to put 1.5 squares per meal pouch. So I just added another strip to cut each one of these squares in half. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to put 1 square and 1/2 square in each meal pouch. And we're just going to crumple that up a little bit in from my bag. Then we're just going to do that and roll it like that. So let me get these packaged and I'll be right back. Okay, so we got those all packaged up. Let's put some O2 absorbers in there. These are my apple fritters. Put 1 300cc in each of those. Give those a Ziploc. Okay, so these are my American goulashers all bagged up. I did 2-gallon bags with 10 little meal pouches bags in there, and we need to put these away temporarily till we get our noodles done. So I'm going to put 2 300cc O2 absorbers in there, each bag, and we'll do a heat seal on those to get those put away until my noodles are done. So I'll see you when we start prepping our noodles. I'll see you then. Okay, so I got 2 pounds of shells there. That's these ones right here. And I cooked them according to the box directions, 8 minutes till they're al dente. I then rinsed them and drained them. And now I am going to soak them in water for about 8 hours. Now, I realize it's a bit redundant. Let me turn that tap on. It's a bit redundant. I have to keep repeating this, but some of you might just stumble upon this video and not seen my previous videos. And I get asked, well, why are you soaking those? Well, best thing I can do without re-explaining it every video I do is for me to refer you to the video Mac and Cheese Problem Solved. And the problem with noodles freeze drying is that if you want a quick rehydration, like within 5 minutes, and you do macaroni or any of the noodles and you rehydrate them, they're chewy. They don't rehydrate all the way. Now, if you don't want a 5-minute quick rehydrate, then you don't have to bother doing this step. If you're going to like put it on the stove and rehydrate it on the stove as you heat it up and all that stuff, or if you want to stick it in the fridge overnight for them to rehydrate, you don't need to do that. But for the 5-minute meals, which is what I work on mainly, my main goal is to have a meal in 5 minutes in a pouch. Then we do this. So I would refer you to the mac and cheese problem solved video of mine, and that goes into a little bit more detail. But by soaking this overnight, those noodles are going to swell. They're cooked al dente, but they're going to swell up overnight by soaking up the water. Then we're going to freeze dry them, and all that swellness up, it'll stay swollen up, but the water will be gone. It'll still be an al dente noodle, but that creates, for want of a better word, air pockets in the noodle where that moisture, when you do go to rehydrate it, can get back in. A friend of mine, or actually a viewer of mine, should be a better term, sent me a video link to Mountain House where the CEO of Mountain House is talking about freeze-dried food. And in that video, it's a very short clip, he gives away a trade secret. And what he says is that for freeze-drying, you want the largest ice crystal you can get. And that improves the rehydration and the texture of your freeze-dried food. So, I discovered that totally by accident, but we both came to the same conclusion. So these will rehydrate to the same texture they are now, which is al dente. So I don't know what else to say. You can check out my mac and cheese video. Then I also did another video of like 5 different pastas trying this method to make sure it worked on all the different types, like bow ties, penne, the shells, macaroni. There were some other ones in there, I'm sure. I can't remember them all. And it all worked on all those. So this is just a great process to freeze dry your noodles for your meal and get them to rehydrate in 5 minutes and be nice and al dente, not chewy noodles. So I wanted to make that a short overview and tell you to go to the other video, and we dragged that out for far too long. So I'm going to cover these noodles totally with water. I'll be right back. Okay, while I was filling that, I was thinking, in my last video, one of the viewers asked, well, can't we just cook these noodles a little bit longer till they're softer, and wouldn't that achieve the same results? And the short answer is yes, that'll make a softer noodle. The problem is, when you rehydrate them, you're going to get the same noodle that you had when you took them off the stove, i.e. a soft, soggy noodle. I don't want a soft, soggy noodle. I want an al dente noodle. So when these rehydrate, they're going to rehydrate to the same state that they are now when I cooked them. So if I cooked these, overcooked them, and made them a soft, soggy noodle, yeah, I wouldn't have to soak them or anything. But when I rehydrated them, they would be a soft, soggy noodle. So this method works. I would just encourage you to try it. And I'm going to get this in the fridge, and soak that for about 8 or 9 hours. And then we'll drain them, and I'll see you when they come out of the refrigerator. Well, here they are. These are getting ready to go into the freeze dryer. Last night, it was late at night, these had been in the refrigerator for 8 hours soaking, and I had already got ready for bed, so I didn't want to do an episode of The Naked Chef because that would be embarrassing and not very pretty sight. So I went ahead and trayed these up and stuck them in the freezer and got them frozen solid, and today they are going into the freeze dryer. So the 2 pounds of those noodles ended up making 2 cooked pounds per tray. So I ended up with 8 pounds of cooked noodles, waterlogged cooked noodles, for the 4 trays. So I put 2 pounds in each one, and that's almost exactly 2 pounds. So I'm going to fire up Big Red, and we're going to get these in the freeze dryer, and next time you see it, it will all be coming out, and we'll package it and do a taste test. I look forward to seeing you on that. There we have it. 4 trays of shells freeze dried. So that's going to be 20 meal pouches, because I'm going to use 2 squares, and there's 10 squares per tray. I'm going to use 2 squares per pouch. And we're just going to bag these up. like that. Put them in my bag. Like that. I got 20 of them to do, so I'm going to be here for a minute. Okay, so I got my 20 bags full of noodles. Now we're going to open these up. This is my goulash that I did last week. We've got to be careful when we take them out of here that we rolled up in the bag. We're going to take one of those, tuck it in the top, and do that to every one. And I had I think I put two 300cc of O2 absorbers in that gallon bag to store those. Put those in there. I'll be right back. Okay, so now we got 20 of them with noodles in the goulash mix. Now we're going to put a 300cc O2 absorber in each one. Just like that. Alright, so now let's zip them shut. Put that O2 absorber in there and zip it shut. I'll do all 20 of these and I'll be right back. Alright, there they are. Let me get my sealer out. We'll get that warmed up, and as soon as that's warmed up, we'll put a heat seal on these, and I'll be back. And there we go. All my bags sealed up. Let's turn this off. Let this cool down. We'll get these put away and do a taste test. So I'll see you then. Okay, I've done some experimenting trying to get this to rehydrate properly to a texture I liked. And I discovered one of two ways. Let's get this going and I'll talk about that while we're waiting for this. Let's get it open. Now I am of two minds on this. The noodles rehydrate better if you do the noodles all by themselves. To me it comes out a little bit quicker that the noodles get totally rehydrated. However, the sauce doesn't stick to the noodles as well as if you mix the sauce in with the noodles and rehydrate it all together. So it's a very slight variation in flavor, texture type to me, but it takes a little bit longer when you mix this in with that to rehydrate. So I'll say that if you rehydrate the noodles on your own, and with this set aside, you could rehydrate the noodles for 5 minutes in hot water, drain off the excess water, dump this in, and then add enough water to get to the thickness you like it, and that would be done in about 5 or 6 minutes. But if you dump this in, it's about 6 or 7 minutes, and I just think it's worth the extra couple minutes to mix it together, because I just think the texture comes out better. So I took everything out. That's what it looks like in there with it mixed in. So we need a half a cup of determined for the way I packaged that. So let's get this down to half a cup. This is hot water straight from my Keurig. So it's almost boiling. Now I'm not going to stir that up right now. I'm just going to seal it. Get my timer going. And 2.5 minutes. I'll see you in 2.5 minutes. Okay, that has been 2.5 minutes. Let's open this up and give it a stir. Now we didn't stir it the first time because that gave my noodles kind of like a head start on the moisture. Now we're going to give it a really good stir and get all that powder moist as well. Alright, so now we're going to let that sit. Let me make sure everything's in the moisture for another 2.5 minutes. So, see you in 2.5 minutes. Okay, there's another 2.5 minutes. Let's open that up. Give it another stir. Because this is so thick in there, that's why we got to keep stirring it. But I did try watering it down, and now we want the nice thick sauce to get that full flavor. Let me just try one of these noodles. Now I'd say in a pinch, that 5 minutes, you could eat those. But the noodles aren't quite there. So I am going to do it. We've done it 5 minutes now. Let's make that 2 more minutes so a total of 7 minutes. So I'll see you in 2 more minutes. And this will be delicious. Okay, so there we have it. The last 2 minutes. Let's dismiss that, put that away. Open this up. Give it some stirring. While I'm stirring this, I'm going to tell you about these pouches. These are single meal pouches made by topmiler.com. And I love these pouches because they are shallow. They would allow me to eat this straight out of the bag, which is how I did my tests on this. I didn't dirty up a plate for doing my figuring out my reconstitution process. But, so on the go, they're perfect pouch for meals. 7 mil thick. I buy them by the case. Topmilar.com. TOPMYLAR.com. Great people. Nice, small, family-owned American business. And beautiful customer service. Fast shipping. And I can't have no complaints with them, and I've been using them forever. So, since we like to look at my food on the videos, I'm going to dish this out. Look at that. Oh yeah. Oh yeah. That's looking good. Let's get all that good sauce out of there. I don't want to waste nothing on that. Alright, let me get close up with that, and then we'll do a taste test. Alright, let's dig in. So when I tried it earlier, I put more, the first couple times I added more water because of the noodles. And it didn't look as good, and the texture was alright, I guess, but the noodles didn't hold the sauce like this is holding the sauce right now. I don't know if you can see that. It's holding the sauce, where if we mix it together, it seems to hold the sauce a lot better. And that is good. It's that fine balance of getting the right amount of water to rehydrate the noodles. And not having, and the vegetables, and not having your sauce too thin. But look at this. See that? Perfect. Perfect noodle. Not too soggy and soft, and not crunchy. This came out really good. You guys can play around with that time, but that's what we do, 7 minutes. You could almost do it 8 minutes, but I'm in a hurry. When I do my meals, I want them to come out within 5 minutes, really. But I'm willing to wait that 2 extra minutes for a good noodle. And these are good. I am super happy with this. And in a pinch, I'd wolf this down in a heartbeat. The flavor on this is beautiful. The noodles are holding the sauce, which is what we wanted, versus doing them separately and rehydrating the noodles separately. You get a little bit of a better texture of the noodles, but then the texture is better, but the flavor is not as good, because when you mix it with the sauce, as it's rehydrating the noodles, it's sucking in that flavor from the sauce. Well, there's 2 ways to do it. Me personally, and well, stirring it at 2 minutes, that last 2 minutes, stirring it again, because there's not a lot of moisture in it. That's why you got to keep stirring it to get some of the noodles that ain't covered in the moisture or sauce into the sauce, and you wouldn't have known the difference. But I'm super happy with this. I can show you again. The noodles are perfect there. Okay. Definitely be doing something like this again. I think I might do chili mac next. And use macaroni. But everything has come back beautifully. The flavor on this is nice. I think that 1 squirt of sriracha sauce really made a difference. It's not hot. It's not spicy hot, but it's just an undertone of some seasoning and some spice in that. That's great. This is delicious. I've used what? This is my 4th pouch of the 20 to get it right, to get the times right and the liquid right. So it only gives me 16 more. What am I gonna do? Finger looking good, as they say. Well, there you have it. Another success from John and Bibs. Freeze-dried American goulash, Bibs style. Hope you enjoyed the video. I thank you for watching, and I look forward to seeing you next time.